do the next thing I need to do. I think I'm doing too much, guys.
What else is new?
Did you get your hat edited?
Yeah, did you edit your hat?
Wait, my hat?
Dogman
No, it didn't work.
And other mythical. I came ill prepared because I don't know anything about
No,
mythical beasts or Dogman.
just the mythical beast that's on your shirt.
I know something about this mythical beast.
I'm almost ready.
Mythical thrift store find.
Those are the best.
How you gonna beat that?
No. It had to be a Northwoods thrift store find.
Green Bay. I
Close
also got
enough.
one that says, "Have you hugged your muskie today?" And have you
That's sweet.
That's my other.
Nice.
This is taking longer than I want. But I'll just pick something. I don't know. Done, go. Okay.
Hope you guys are enjoying the action.
Here we go.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks. That's just meat in the freezer. It's egg. You hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Oh. What is this? Smoke wagon? Wow.
Is that hitting you?
That really just went right to the gut. I'm not sure. It's right here in my belly.
Yeah, you got a little fire going?
I do. I'm on an empty stomach.
Oh.
It's going to be a rager.
You're going to be a little silly here in a
Got
few
smoke
minutes.
wagon and a Guinness extra stout. That
Smoke
should
wagon and a
that should do
Guinness.
you just about right
Oh, yeah.
on an empty tummy.
You got a little
Happy St. Patty's Day.
you got a little dinner
Oh, I
and
didn't know
dessert
about
there,
that.
huh?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
No. Okay, here we go.
I might have prematurely drunk that.
Yeah.
You might be
Maybe I
prematurely
should-
drunk.
Maybe premature. Is that? I wonder how that would work.
It's a premature majungulator.
Oh, making up words.
Yeah,
Welcome to the Okayest Hunter podcast, aka the Shit Show. We're coming at you from the Okayest Hunter podcast studio here in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin. Wow, that really turned on a lot faster than I wanted to. We are brought to you by halfrack.com. Go there, check out their gear. We got a lot of stuff coming our way from those folks. So we're going to get our hands on a lot of accessories, and we're going to start to have a lot more shenanigans. We got to prep ourselves for turkey season and whatnot. So I don't even know. I don't want to tell you guys what it's going to be. You're just going to be like, get stuff, and you're like, whoa, what is all this stuff?
Stuff is cool.
Stuff is cool.
So
Especially
Shut up.
half rack stuff.
especially after us, they're like our cousin or something as far as brands are concerned. Like I couldn't think of another brand that complements.
It's a pretty good pairing.
Yeah, their accessories that complement our brand really well.
Snack pouches.
Right,
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you won't have to
Things to sit on.
keep your tree bark in your pocket anymore.
If you're into sitting, snacking, and easily hoisting deer
Yes, you
without
might
too
be an
much.
Okayest Hunter. Let's just get Jeff Foxworthy on here. Oh gosh. Anyway, code OHP over there, 15% off. Yeah, I don't. That's all I have for now. We'll probably have those guys on as a guest another one or two times. I'm sure we'll see them around at Foam Fest and yada yada yada. And we're supposed to do some hunting with them and everybody else for that matter. At some
You
point.
might want to touch base because last I checked, it is March and
When can I get my scrap tag or whatever it's called?
Yeah, we gotta look at that. I don't even
20th,
know.
21st. You better start looking.
I'll get it. Please remind me, but I will do it. I will get the
You
tag.
better message Mr. Dutton like right after we get done
Yeah.
and ask him when that hunt is. So you
Josh, if you're listening,
you
The
need
late
to get
season
don't
turkey.
punch
Yeah.
me in the gut. If I don't get it.
Smoke wagon's already done that.
Smoke
Yeah.
wagon already done that. What else?
smoked. He's already smoked.
Latitude Outdoors. Their speed sticks are on pre-order. Their Carbon Series speed sticks, not the deodorant. Don't get confused. That's a different product. They should do an April Fool's. Come get the speed sticks. Kidding. It's not deodorant.
Do you prefer the gel?
I hate the gel.
Dude, I had the speed
The
stick
gel is
gel
gross.
when I was like in middle school. I thought it was the coolest thing ever.
No, it's awful.
Oh my god, it was like a glue stick under your arm. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
disgusting.
it's like I'm trying to stay dry and it just made me wet in my
It's-
armpit.
it's
Like,
horrible.
what's the point of this?
guaranteed to be
Is this like normal?
uncomfortable for hours.
Gross. Anyway, like they have the saddles, the platforms, they have the dump pouch, they have the knee pads. I mean, they have the whole kit to get you in a tree in a saddle. We talked about this last week about how it's great for videographers because it gives them all this extra mobility with their camera arm in a way that a tree stand I don't think really is gonna as well. Maybe I don't know.
Where it's going to work best is if you're in a tree stand, your videographer's right behind you on the same tree.
He's got to be behind me.
They're right. Yeah, he's got to be behind you, man. You can
Just on the other side of the tree. It's like you know what do they call that when you're you go to your little girlfriend in the swing set at recess and you do the spider. You know what I'm talking about? You both on the same swing and you sit spidered to each other.
Wow,
it's a thing.
I know what you're talking about.
I mean,
well, guys, I'm feeling a little.
We
red
know
over
you
here.
were a bit unsupervised as a kid, but holy crap!
How many neighborhood girls were you spidering on the swings?
Just a couple.
You were the great paraphermalias before the great
I'm going to
paraphermalias.
Eric's spider.
I don't even think it was my idea. I think it was one of the girls. Like, you want to do a spider thing? I was like, man, what's that? She's like, well, you sit on a swing and then I sit on you and then we
You'll
swing. I was
find
like,
out.
all right. I just thought it was like a fun way to swing. I
Makes
didn't.
me feel
it wasn't
kind of
sexual.
funny.
So if you want a spider with the videographer in a saddle, I recommend it.
I will say,
Anyway,
I do love my tree stands, but filming from the saddle, especially as a lefty.
Oh,
Like,
lefty.
Okay, so think about this. Where is every flip out video screen on a camera?
it always flips.
It's on the left side,
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
well-
on the opposite side.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at the ones that on the wall here. and
Is
I
on the
think-
opposite
Yeah, to your
side,
left, yeah.
so you can never see what you're doing. But in a saddle, is way easier.
I feel like this is like an episode from that movie Rain Man.
Yeah.
What does he say? Who's on first? Who's on first? Who's on left? That's not the same thing at all. I'm thinking about NASCAR.
Somebody's going
That's a
left.
South Park episode. NASCAR sure is a NASCAR, and then they just turn left all the time.
Wow, we just jumped all sorts of different channels.
We're gonna
of
sponsor
freaking-
NASCAR.
Ooh,
No, I'm kidding. We're not.
NASCAR's going to sponsor us.
Yeah, that's
Which
gotta
car?
happen
Which
first.
driver should we put our logo on their hood? Who would it be even? I don't even
I
know.
don't know.
Is
I
there a
could-
guy from Wisconsin, Matt? Is he still
Hey,
around?
no, he's done.
He's done now.
Yeah.
That's how old I am.
Yeah,
Like I
he's
used to
done.
be cool.
Was it Matt?
Matt Kenseth.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth. Yeah,
Right
he
from
used to
over
be on-
my
he used to be
way.
on Laser 103 or the Hog, whatever the hell they're calling it these days. Bob and Brian.
Laser hogs.
Laser Hogs.
Freaking hogs with
Now
freaking
we're-
laser beams. Hats with their
Freaking
freaking
laser
hats.
beam.
Speaking of lasers and like high tech shit, Spartan Forge, our other sponsor on the podcast. It's
What a
Wow, we
transition.
finally got that in gear.
Well done.
Holy crap.
Oh man, you want some high tech? You want some high speed stuff? It's incredible.
It's faster than your mouth right now.
There's a playground in my backyard that we got in like September for the kid's birthday,
Mhm.
and like you go to that historical feature, and like in August it wasn't there, and now it is there. It's like
Now
it's
you
a little
see me?
creepy. Like if Bill ever
It's like
wants to see
Magic
what I'm
Man.
doing, he can just
Now
be
you
like,
see me?
and
Now you don't.
every April it appears to be the time when I clean my garage out because there's a bag start in my yard and like 2 of the Aprils from previous years. I'm like,
Why aren't you mowing your lawn in July, Eric? This seems to be a serious
cut your grass today.
problem.
Look at the blades. Look at those blades on the grass. You can tell by the direction they lean.
Mhm.
I've heard Greg say this out loud before.
Whatever. Anyway,
He gets mad about it.
I don't get mad about it.
He said being so mad.
Right.
Whoa.
He gets pretty emotional
Whoa.
about his yard.
You can tell the way the deer are traveling by the way the grass
Oh,
is bent.
yeah, right here.
Remember
Here
that?
we go.
I remember that. I'll never forget it.
And if
Anyway.
you lick the grass, you can tell which deer was through there.
Do you need some hogs
Oh.
wash?
No.
Well, if you're Derek, you can tell if a buck walked through because the branches broke because the antler's wider than the path.
It's a buck breaker,
See?
branchler breaker.
Yeah, branchler breaker.
Always
Um,
looking out for those.
Method Archery will be there. I think it's this weekend, the 19th. We're gonna go there and do. They're gonna help me set up my new Bear Legend XR bow, which I'm honestly pretty enthused about, to be quite frank. Because I was mentioning I want to shoot this thing in the basement, but I'm like, well, I'm not gonna shoot my old bow. That
Yeah, you're
seems
going to
stupid.
take it from being an air baker to a foam killer.
An air baker.
Yeah.
What's that? I'm not dry firing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Please
With
don't.
you, anything's possible.
Don't do it.
My father-in-law dry fired my other bow. I literally told him not to do it, and then he did it. I was like, I just told you not to do that. What the hell?
He didn't understand. No comprende.
Don't do what?
What?
I was like, dunk. Did you hear the words that came out of my mouth? Do you want me to dry fire your golf club? What the hell? Into a tree?
He does it all the time.
I hope he listens to this. He's a great guy. Anyway, just don't give me your fucking bow. He'll dry fire that son of a bitch.
It's not a good feeling.
Go Wild. We should be live on Go Wild right now. Our YouTube should be streaming on Go Wild, I think. So we post there frequently. We have a brand page. We have our own pages on Go Wild. I don't know if you post any of your sheds over there. You should, because you'll
I
get some
should.
points and you're going to be able to cash in on those.
I want some points.
Points.
I
I
will
need
point.
points.
Do you get a
Honestly-
point for every point you find?
I don't. Ooh, that's a good idea, Brad.
Shed
are
points.
you listening?
Shed
Braden,
points.
Are you listening? If you load up, and they should get more points
Hey,
for the smaller
check
the
that
shed.
out.
Well, yeah, like
There it is. There's the link. It's on there right now.
Okay, so something's happening.
It's a
I've
link.
done something.
Yeah.
I did my job.
8
We're also
minutes
live on
ago.
Instagram for the first time, like ever.
Howdy.
Cheers, Instagram. Can't see you over there, so if you're commenting, I have no clue what you're saying. Jump
Hello.
on over to YouTube.
Doesn't know what to do with his hands.
you would be proud though. Shed hunting this weekend, I did
Let's
find
talk
a
about it.
spike,
Let's talk about
That's
and I
pretty
did
sweet.
find 2 fork horns.
Okay.
So your logo was living through me.
it.
So
That
you're
sounded a little
welcome.
weird, but okay, I'll bite. What'd I do? Oh, I don't know. Oh, sorry, I did something weird.
Seriously?
What?
You don't know what to do with your hands at all.
Bro,
There we go.
Lord.
I got it fixed.
Ruh-roh.
I'm trying to crop Derek and Greg into
Look
the.
at guy on iPad. Push buttons. Boop boop boop.
I told you guys you're gonna have to help me here.
I don't know how to help you, dude.
Help me, mammy.
Oh gosh. Well, this one needs to get deleted. Anyway, why don't you guys talk about shed hunting while I fix this conundrum I'm dealing with here?
Schnedschnunting.
Schnitznutting.
Wandering aimlessly through the woods.
Yeah.
Looking for them bones. Yeah, hey.
The bones that look like branches. We call them branchlers.
Branchers. Seen a few of them in there.
Yeah, I didn't find any.
Oh, yeah.
We have someone from Virginia on the line.
Howdy.
Should we bring him in? Should we do it right away?
It's completely up to you.
Zach, you're live on the Okayest Hunter podcast. What do you got?
Hey guys, I finally got on to be able to call y'all on my way home from work. How you guys doing?
Booyah! We're doing well dandy now. Drinking some smoke wagon over here.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to share an okayest moment for my turkey season already.
Heck yeah, let's hear it.
All right, so I'm an avid deer hunter. Never said I was a good one, but I'm an avid one. But this will be my first year turkey hunting, and I've been pretty excited about it. So I bought a new shotgun, even though I already had one. But I'm pretty new to the shotguns and the choke tubes and stuff, right?
Okay.
Borrowed a buddy's choke tube and screwed it in the end of my brand new shotgun to see how it patterned, because mine was patterned to the right, and shot the choke tube out of the end of the shotgun.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what that means. Greg seems to know what's happening here.
That usually means, well, one, it was the wrong choke tube for the gun, because it actually didn't thread, and it just kind of, it sort of grabbed the threads
Like
and maybe went in.
cross-threaded
It
the shit a little bit, or-
maybe. And when he let her go, it all went out. Oh.
It was. He said it was for that one. I did find it, and it seems to be fine, so that's plus.
That is a plus.
Because it was a nice one. But on the plus side, it it patterned perfect. So I do need that brand, baby.
So if you get one shot, make it count. You're all good.
Yeah, I get one shot. Yep, and hope I don't lose it.
If the BBs don't
So
kill
I
it,
thought
the
that
choke
was
tube
fine.
will.
That's right.
That reminds me of like a movie scene where you just chuck the gun at someone when you're out of
Yeah.
loads.
What'd you end up getting
Yeah,
for
I
a
wouldn't be
shotgun?
above doing that. So I have an old 12 gauge Mossberg that I've had for that I've got like secondhand, and that's what I had. But I have 3 sons, so Mossberg come out with that new. Well, it's not new this year, but it's only a few years old, I believe. It's the 410 pump model of a Mossberg 500.
Nice.
Awesome.
And it's the bottomland camo. So I thought that was pretty cool, and it's cut for like a little red dot. So I grabbed it for an excuse to buy it for my sons, but they're too little for it right now. So I'm gonna try and kill a turkey with it this year.
Heck yeah.
That'll be sweet.
I've been thinking about something similar, finding a 410 turkey gun, just because I want a 410. First of all,
410s are
rabbit
fun.
hunting. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
grouse hunting with them, woodcock. But the turkeys would be awesome for the kids too, because I got 2 little kids, just like you mentioned. How is it finding 410 shells for you for like turkey loads?
That's what I was gonna tell you. Good luck. So if
Yeah.
you're willing
Yeah.
to pay for the TSS, you're looking at like $40 to $80 for 5 rounds. That's it.
Ouch.
I didn't do that, and I had a buddy like a state away. He found me some boxes of the Winchester Double X, just
Okay.
a regular lead shot,
Yep.
and he got all 3 boxes that the Bass Pro had. So he bought my buddy pulled in clutch for me, bought those for me.
That's good.
But
Yeah.
other than that, finding them's not very easy. The only ones I can find are the TSS at like local gun shops. None of the box stores has it.
Yeah. Well, and as soon as people see them at the box stores, because those are most traveled, they snarf them up pretty quick. But that is not a cheap
Agreed.
round. And if you're just getting into it and just trying to pattern the gun, I don't think I'd want to be messing around with real expensive shells to begin with, just to get the gun broke in and get things figured out.
I agree.
So what kind of?
But yeah, if you want to check out that 410, it's pretty sweet. They have a couple different versions of it, and if you get the one I had, it's optic cut for those like little pistol red dots.
Okay. Yep.
So, and sometimes Mossberg will even sell them as a package, and it has that little Holliston red dot on it. So it's pretty cool. I'm familiar with red dots and ARs and rifles and stuff, and big into archery. I've just never been a big shotgun guy, so I was pretty excited to get it and have something like that I can hand down to the kids.
That's perfect little keepsake to hand down to the kids.
That'll be awesome. When does your season open for turkey?
Our season opens April 8th. It's the day before Easter, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Oh,
Excellent. Cool. Well, good luck, man. I hope that new 410 treats you right.
Yeah, you're in you're in
y'all.
Virginia, is that right?
Yes, sir. I'm down in like the southwestern tip. I'm about 30 minutes from Kentucky, and not even an hour from Tennessee. I'm only about an hour from where Brad, the founder of Go Wild, I'm only about an hour from where he's from.
Beautiful.
Is that how you got into the call? From Go, because you
No,
I
called y'all from the. No, I called you from the regular thing. I found you on YouTube. And there was the number on YouTube and called you.
Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
Well, thanks for calling in.
And Go Wild and all that stuff anyway, though.
Rock
awesome.
On.
We appreciate
it. Cheers, man.
Because of you guys, you guys made me pre-order the Latitude sticks, and I done bought Method archery arrows and everything.
Jeez Louise.
Hey, I hope you're using the code to get a little money off,
Drink
buddy.
that Okayest Hunter Kool-Aid, man. It's pretty tasty. It's also really cheap. There might be some vodka in it. I don't know. Well, thanks for calling in, man. Good to hear from you.
Hey, no problem. Y'all have a good, and I'll listen to y'all in a little while.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Have a good season.
Have a good night.
Dude, sorry, Derek. I asked Derek to raise his seat up to get him in frame, and that was what the funniest thing I've ever witnessed. And then we both couldn't laugh because we didn't want to be disrespectful, but like I'm crying over
You
here.
two were jacking around, and I'm.
But I wasn't trying to jack around.
He was.
No,
I did everything I could not to
had
laugh.
a little bit of jackaroundery in me, but I did not expect this chair to go up to 5'6".
Taller than your
He
face.
was up here. I'm like, what are you doing?
Let's go. I was like, this is like a tree
like, I
stand.
didn't know
Look
what-
at-
Totally.
I didn't know it went that high.
Dude, I don't need a ladder for
No,
that scouting
he's got
video.
his
That
own
guy
ladder
said,
stand
get a
right here.
ladder.
Oh
Just
my-
no, bringing this.
Dude,
Let's
I think
go.
we need to
Let's
hit that
go.
up. We need to hit that up with some camo paint and take that out to the marsh.
Holy shit.
That thing is. It's
And
got you
then-
up
and
there,
then he started
man.
dropping down, and that's like I'm laughing.
He's like, and you're
Oh,
dying
my
laughing
God.
over
I
there.
couldn't hold it in. I was like
Jackass.
really struggling. Thank God Greg was here to carry us through that
It
because
was,
I was like,
not trying to be rude.
Our poor
No,
guest.
caller, because that was
Zach didn't know.
excellent to hear.
But I'm honestly, it's good. There's a reason you're on that chair and I'm not.
that's like the time we tried to open a beer bottle and it wasn't
Oh, yeah.
working.
Oh, that
that
was
was-
tough. What do you think this
There's-
table's all beat the
there's
shit?
still
Oh,
missing
this,
chunks.
this thing's tore up, man.
Oh no, my YOLO box froze.
Seriously.
What the flip?
Dude, that thing's having a hard time. Maybe it needs a little smoke wagon poured.
Let's see if I can
Probably
fix it.
How's your
quick.
stomach feeling?
Pretty good.
How's your cheek muscles?
They're a little tight.
Yeah, I would say.
Why did this thing do that? It just like decided to give up. I mean, it doesn't matter. We'll come back on in a second. Just stand by over on the screen. Who cares? You can still hear us. We're here. It'll come back on in a minute. Just hang tight.
At least you're not missing anything important.
Right.
Yeah, no, you're missing Derek fucking around with the chair over there, going up and down like an elevator.
I'm learning my equipment, okay? I'm
He's
practicing.
gonna hit his head on the I beam in the base.
If this thing goes all the way up, I'm super interested.
gonna get a spider web in your hair.
Yeah, no doubt.
Jeez. Anyway, you guys were talking about sheds a little bit. Like, I don't know. How many did you find? How many did you find? How many did your group find?
I found, I think, 14 or 15 this past weekend. We did a trip to the promised land of Illinois.
Okay.
I have one shed in Wisconsin so far this year, and I have 15 in Illinois. So if that tells you anything,
We know where you'll be killing a deer next year. It might not be here.
probably won't be in Wisconsin
No,
again.
again.
No, but I got invited down with my good buddy Bo Bilo, who's been on the podcast and done a lot of work with us from Ghost Bucks, and it's always fun to go down there. He just is a diehard whitetail guy. like myself, so we know when we're going down for a weekend, if it's daylight, we're going to be doing something in the woods. And
Yep.
it's about what we did. We had horrible conditions getting down there. All the schools were getting canceled on like Friday and Thursday night. I had a meeting and left after the meeting at like 8:00. Pretty much left in like the start of the worst of it and drove south on what normally is like a 5.5 hour drive. Ended up taking like 7. So it was pretty crappy conditions. We got into the cabin that we stay at like, I think I got there at like 3, and Bo and Adam rolled in like 3:45. We talked about how terrible the drive was, had a couple of beers to take the edge off because we were all pretty darn tense from that drive, and went to bed around 4:15 and got up at 5:45, had some coffee,
Quick little
some
power
venison bacon, and we were hitting the woods. So we did some walking on Bo's lease, found a couple really nice sheds. One of the target bucks he was after, this 3-year-old 5-point. Well, he's a 10-point, but everything is just like 8 inches
Tall.
or taller. So we found that one right away. It was super fresh. Could not find the other side, but we found a couple other decent ones. And then we went to 2 of his other permission properties and went with Lou, the guy who owns the cabin, really nice guy, and our buddy Clay. And everybody found antlers. Adam found some antlers, really nice ones. So we had a lot of fun. And then Saturday we dedicated all to scouting the public and finding some antlers there. I found my 2 biggest ones there, so that was pretty cool. And then Sunday I snuck in a quick walk before we came home. Found 6.
You found
smaller
6 more
ones.
just going on a walk on your own, or what?
Yeah, on Sunday morning.
Dude, that's crazy.
So it was perfect though. It was like it had rained the night before. Everything was super dark, super matted. And I got out there, I was telling Greg, I got there with the time switch. We left the cabin at like 5:30 in the morning. It was dark for like an hour. So I was walking a little green field with a flashlight in the dark for about 45 minutes before someone turned the lights on. So I was out there shed hunting with my flashlight. Needless to say, I didn't find anything with that, but yeah, it was good. Learned a lot about the property, the public stuff that we're going to hunt this fall. Adam's going to come down,
Cool.
do some hunting. So we found some areas that look really, really good.
Sweet.
So we're excited.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a meeting at work, and you guys had sent that through, and I was like, and it happened to be a meeting with a hunting client, like that's a hunting brand, a bigger one. And I was like, oh, look at this. And they're like, oh, let me see it. Like, people were freaking out. It was hilarious. There's not another job where I can get away with that, where it would make any sense.
That's super cool.
They're like, what the hell? Where is he? I was like, wait, here, because it was snowing.
Yeah.
Like it was obviously downpouring snow. So
yeah, so we took a whole bunch of video footage of all the shed stuff, and I'm sure Bo will have a video on the Ghost Bucks Hunt channel on YouTube. So if you don't follow that, go check out his stuff. Nice job with that. Edit some awesome hunts and shed hunts.
cool. Yeah, your last one of episode 4 and 5 are coming out this week, actually, which is exciting. For
of the
we'll see
Okayest
how it
Hunter?
goes. Yep. So there'll be an additional episode to your last episode 3. There'll be like a 3.2 or whatever the hell we want to call it, 3.1. I don't know.
Cool.
Before we get in like the full on 4, but anyway, there'll be more about that. But Ghost Bucks was like super nice to share all that stuff with us.
Yeah.
So Jack, to see that all come together, even though it's in both places, it's fine.
Yeah.
But how often do you kill a 170? Like, well,
Sure.
for me, never. So unless you're in Iowa, apparently, then it's every other week.
Right.
Yeah. Jeez. In Iowa, you don't want to show somebody your 170. Like,
Oh yeah, well, I missed 2 of those. Okay. Anyway, the theme of the episode ish today was because I didn't have any other good ideas to talk about. Much like last week, it was the cocaine bear. I wanted, because there's just not a lot going on this time of year other than shed hunting. There just isn't much. Turkey hunting isn't fully on. Ice fishing, we're not a fishing podcast, but the ice is melting. There just isn't really a whole lot. Remember those when we're all mushroom hunting, blah, 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 at least here in the Midwest. So I thought, why not talk about, this is the opportunity I wanted since I've been doing the show since 2013 to talk about Sasquatch and all the other mythical beasts that
Sam
exist.
Squanch.
Sam
It's
Squanch.
Sam Squanch. I was going to get that audio bite and I totally forgot. Damn it.
I'm sure you can work that out.
There's I have like a doc that my computer is running like a dog. That's why it's not working. There's skunk ape, goat man, beast of the land between the lakes, which is like in Kentucky, Michigan Dogman, Sasquatch, Snow River Man, Wendigo, and the Beast of Bray Road. Those are the ones that I'm aware of. What I'm hopeful for is that our audience, whether live on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you guys are listening, if you have encounters or stories of encounters of these, then which ones aren't we thinking of aside of the cabra? All right, like the chupacabra, I don't know, it's like probably a bald dog or something sucking goat blood. But there's some pretty weird stories. I've encountered some. Derek's like, shit, I don't have anything about this, but you're wearing a shirt of your own like mythical beast, which is the mature buck that I can't seem to ever locate in my life. Greg, what encounters have you had with mythical beasts? Are you a believer? Is Sasquatch real? Like, what are you gonna go with here? Are you scared of shit to walk into the woods sometimes in the North Woods, or I don't know, freaks me out. That and there's bears. I'm getting a blank stare from Greg right now. I'm not sure what that's
Scared
all about.
to walk in the woods.
Greg looks like if he's going to talk about Bigfoot, he's going to need a little bit of courage.
Bigfoot, Sam Squatch, Dogman.
What's your thoughts?
Nah.
Just straight up, nah.
Nah.
Greg's unfazed.
Nah. I've heard people talk about them. I've heard of some encounters in my area, Beast of Bray Road.
What is the Beast of Bray Road?
You tell me.
I don't know. There's a book and a movie about it.
There's a movie about that?
There's a
I know
movie
there's a
about
book.
it's like some cheesy Hallmark movie, but not Hallmark's like the antithesis of Hallmark, but it's that caliber of
Gotcha.
shit.
Yeah, just
But
really,
it exists.
Really,
It's out there.
Really well done.
Someone,
Greg.
someone made a
Theatrics.
movie
Wow.
of the Beast of Bray Road. It's a thing. It's a thing.
It is a thing. I know of people that have had some weird encounters out in the marsh in that area that claim that they had some kind of weird animal making noises and talking back at them. I don't know what kind of drugs they were on. Maybe they had a little smoke wagon in them. I don't know.
I got a caller that might have something to say about this.
Okay, here we go.
Is this Brad?
It is.
You're live on the Okayest Hunter
What's up,
podcast,
guys?
Brad. I know you got some
Long
opinions
time
about.
listener, first time caller.
How's it going, bud?
How you doing?
Hey guys, but when I mean, you almost got me last week with Cocaine Bear.
Then I had to go
You
hard.
told
I had to go
me.
hard and hook you with the
Yeah.
Dogman.
He called you out
Yeah,
and you got
exactly. It's like-
nervous.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few other topics that would have gotten me to call in, and I feel like Eric, you know that I've built a sub brand around talking about Dogman.
It's in your
And
LinkedIn
I
profile.
will say it is, and I talked about it at least 18 months before Meat Eater ever touched the subject. I'm just saying.
Oh, I didn't even know they
So-
talked about this. I know they talked about
I
the
think they did.
Rampolla
They
buck,
did like
but
a Bigfoot episode or something. I didn't listen to it, but I don't know where they went with it, but yeah, we've been talking about Dogman and Bigfoot for a long time ago. Wow.
so what's your take? What's this one you told me about? You told me about the beast between the lakes or something like that. What's it called? Land Between the Lakes beast?
That's in Kentucky, right?
Mhm.
Land Between the
Yeah.
Lakes?
It is. Yeah, and that's like, as far as Kentucky goes, that's what the most famous. There's the beast. Some people call it that. I talked to some people that think it was a Dogman. And for anybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, which is everyone besides maybe Eric, the Dogman is not a werewolf and it's not Bigfoot. This is its own thing in the cryptid paranormal world. It's upright, like 8 feet tall. Some people think that they're like a shapeshifter or like an evil spirit. And so the stories that I've heard, Eric, I sent you a link today to one of them, and I've heard variations of that story. I even did a podcast one time with the North American Dogman Project, and those guys were out there on a limb, like hardcore believers in stuff.
Well, there's that
working to
video on
scientifically
YouTube
prove it.
of the Michigan Dogman that's pretty believable, but I later learned that it's a college that like some video project that put that together. So it's been debunked. But it looked pretty believable.
Yeah, and I've got a couple stories on Dogman and Bigfoot that I'll get into personally in a minute. But the Land Between the Lakes one, there's like two different instances. One was in the 70s, and that one, Eric, I sent you a link to. But these kids drove down from a Kentucky college, and they're going to hang out for the weekend. They come in, they park, and they start hearing weird stuff like scratching in the woods, and it's like whatever, we're in the woods, right? Well, they had driven this old VW van down. They're having a good time. It gets dark, and that is when there started this like howling, but not like we as hunters think of howling, right? This was Dogman's howls are supposed to be like it's almost like a weapon, right? It like knocks you off your your feed almost. And so that starts, and the story goes, they jump back, they like left everything. They peel out in their van and take off, and they start driving away from this thing, and they had to slow down to take a turn, and that's when the vehicle got hit. Felt like it got hit by something. They hightail it out of there. They go all the way back to Murray State. And when they get there, they get out of the car, and there's claw marks torn across the back of the vehicle. That's one of the stories. I had actually never heard that exact version. I've heard stories of like claw marks on cars, but Eric, the most famous tale is the second one in that link I sent you, which we should post that for people to see if you guys can do that. The story of that one was about a murder of multiple people camping at Land Between the Lakes, and there was this big cover up about it. And if you Google this hard enough, you'll start to find like pieces of the truth. I haven't gone and done all the research, so I'm not going to claim like if anybody died or anything, but it's a really interesting one. And everybody in the paranormal community talks about that one when they start talking about the Land Between the Lakes beast.
There it is. I got it on the screen.
I had to step away from the screen, but I'll take your word for it.
I mean, some of the credibility goes out the window when Happy Mario Day is right next to it, right?
Right.
Like, that's not controlled by that, but that's just an unfortunate ad because it was taken on a really nice, serious tone, Brad, and Mario kind of ruined it.
Yeah,
So,
there's
Eric,
a lot of weird ads here.
You've probably heard that. That sounds about right. That's like the guy that I used to interview, Dark Waters, on his site. It was always like really weird graphics, but his stories were really good. But I was up in Pennsylvania last year and met some guys from northern New York, and we get talking about Dogman, as you naturally do at trade shows. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got Dogman on my cell cam," and I'm like, "Okay, where's this going?" And this guy pulls up a photo, dude. And I forever I will regret not asking him if I could take a picture of his phone, because this is where everybody's always like, "You don't have the picture," and I'm like, "Well, no. Like, I just met this guy, and I didn't think to like he was just showing me we're talking, so I don't have this photo. I'll just go ahead and throw that out now." But he showed me photos of what looked like a wolf at first, but the more I started putting it together, like this thing is ginormous from the perspective, and he had other animals. Like you could swipe and see other things that are on these cameras and get perspective on size. So one of these things was bent over, probably like a 4 foot tall hindquarter, and it's walking away from the camera. So all you can see is butt, right? Like big tail. And then there's another head of eyes behind that one that was like, it had to be 8 feet high on this tree. And from like visual evidence, maybe this dude went through all the trouble to Photoshop this before he met me, but this was really random. We just started talking about it. And then he pulled up a trail cam on his phone and showed me the photo. And it was like flipping through multiple trail cam photos. And then there was this thing. That's the most convincing evidence I've ever seen of a Dogman. And I'm not saying I believe in it, but it left you a little more convinced.
Was it one photo, or was there like a series, like it walking away and then it in the distance, or was it just one?
Dude, memories are. It's like I feel like I saw multiple, but I have the one burned in my brain because I literally was holding his phone for a second, like, oh my god, like this is ginormous compared to everything else that's been walking through here. But I can't remember the answer to that. I should have just made it up and told a good story.
I wish this guy would just reach out to you and be like, "Here it is, Brad. Here it is."
Next
I know,
caller.
man, I keep talking about it, hoping that he's going to come forward. But this guy also, like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't use the internet. He was like that level of guy. He's like, I don't want to be there because that's where they're watching me. Well, if you get talking to these Dogman guys, man, and I get this on my TikTok comments all the time. They truly believe there's a government agency that travels the country taking evidence away from people. And there are Dark Waters has stories of this. Dark Waters is a paranormal storyteller. And there are people who say that they've had their trail cameras stolen off their property, and the suits show up, and it's like all this conspiracy around it.
So there was a guy in Wisconsin, and this made like local radio and local news. And it was a guy back. So the DNR used to have someone to pick up roadkill. They no longer do that. But when they did, it was like 3 a.m. DNR guys going around picking up dead roadkill, getting it off the road. Local area puts a deer in the back of his truck. It's heavy. It's hard work. He's hoofing and huffing and doing it. He's an older guy with a beer belly, probably. And he gets in his truck, gets in the driver's seat, goes to drive away, and he felt the truck like compress in the back. And he heard all the stuff, looked in the rearview mirror, and all I saw was fur. And he said something literally jumped in the back of the truck, lifted
It was up
the
by
deer,
Holy Hill.
Holy Hill, here in
Really?
Wisconsin.
It was.
Ran off with it. And the guy
And
was
the
like,
funny
he's
part
like,
is,
I refuse to say my name because I know what people are going to think. They're going to think I'm full of shit and this isn't fake.
it made the news. It was on Channel 12 News. It was on several news syndications. But yeah, it was there. And the funny part is I was
took the deer
working.
carcass and ran off.
I was
like it weighed
literally
nothing.
working in that area.
I was working
like that week.
And the carcass was gone?
It was gone.
It was gone.
Gone.
That's the
and he's
claim.
like, I was a heavy deer carcass. He's like, I had to work to put in the back of the truck, and this thing lifted it like it weighed nothing and ran off with it upright. What the hell is that? And so then we're going Beast of Bray Road,
And
Diego, Dogman,
and they were
Sasquatch.
actually warning people to stay away and not mess around in the area or anything.
And the guy's face was blurred out and everything. He didn't want to come forward because he's like, yeah, I don't want to be that guy. People are going to like ridicule me. It's not cool, but I know what I saw.
Dude, I've heard a lot of those stories. Yeah, a lot of them. We had a story here a few years ago. There was a bunch of, God, I want to say llamas, but it wasn't llamas. Alpacas. It was alpacas.
That's same thing.
And they had this farm that was kind of in Metro Louisville here in Kentucky, and these things got gutted. And they had even I think they had a llama mixed in because they'll keep the coyotes away if I'm remembering this correctly.
Yeah, llamas.
About it.
Llamas are definitely the meaner of the bunch. Llama is
just ask Napoleon Dynamite. He'll tell you.
Yeah, that's right.
Darn
so
it, Tina,
they had
like
a llama or two. I remember the news story. It was like they called it their defense llama.
That's where they hang out, man.
Sounds like such an oxymoron.
I feel like I'm gonna make a shirt of the fence llama.
This is Tina, the defense llama.
Oh, defense, not fence. Never mind. I misheard that. Either way, equally funny.
Defense llama. Yeah. So but there was multiple alpacas killed, and this happened. And I had just talked to the guys at the North American Dogman Project on a podcast, and I even emailed them. I was like, "Do you guys see this?" And they're like, "Yeah, we're trying to decide if we're coming down or not." And so all this speculation kicks off in the paranormal community about like what in the world happened here because the things were killed and not eaten, really, just kind of messed with and left lying. And so the news came out. And they're like, "Oh no, it was just wild dogs." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Like, there's no way that this was a few wild dogs."
There's a story like that in Wisconsin. Brad, there's a police report. I was telling these guys about this before we got on the podcast. There's a police report you can find on the internet. You got to dig it up. It took a bunch of research. We found an actual police report that indicated some sort of shapeshifter, like killing and bleeding out deer, and they're all piled up in ditches.
Yeah, dude.
Like, what's the deal? These stories are the
man.
same across state lines. Like, I've never heard of your stories, but they sound the same as our stories, and they're here.
Dude, they keep going too. Like there are a ton of these when you start digging into these stories. I have to credit my buddy Blake. He's the one that got me into this whole mess. Before Halloween, he sent me a podcast years and years ago. It's like 2018 about Dogman. I started listening to this stuff, and like being an outdoorsman, you kind of like this idea of this thing living in the woods is interesting. But then I went down that rabbit hole, and then it starts to freak you out. Like the one night I interviewed Dark Waters late at night, and then I got up at 4:00 in the morning to go deer hunting, and walking out, I'm not gonna lie, I was starting like, oh dude, I've got all these crazy stories. And he told me his hunting stories. Like he told me the ones that he had been told. Basically what this guy does is he interviews people, they tell him their stories, and then he'll call them back 5 or 6 times over months to see if they're telling the truth. And then he has a whole podcast where he has a huge following. And so he came in and told me his best outdoorsman stories, and they were absolutely nuts. The guy's crazy.
I love it. This is why I wanted to do this podcast, because we've never done this podcast, and I thought there'd be we have another caller behind you too, so I don't know what they're going to talk about, but I'm assuming something interesting.
All right, so I got one more, and you guys can discuss. I'm gonna hang up, and you guys can chat. And I was turkey hunting last year, and I was sitting in the woods, and I started to hear what sounded like the sound of like a couple of 2x4 blocks being smacked together, and super loud, obnoxiously loud for when you're in the woods, right? There's a lot of natural sounds you hear that are maybe something, a bird you don't know or something, but this was obnoxiously loud. This is notoriously how like how Bigfoot enthusiasts think that Bigfoot communicates is banging sticks together. I'm going to hang up and listen to see if you guys have a thought on what it is, but it's great talking to you guys tonight. I'll make room for another caller. Thanks for the shout out on Go Wild too, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Brad. Have a good one.
See you, Brad.
I don't think Bigfoot communicates that way.
That's what they
I don't
always
think-
talked
but I don't
about on
think
that
Bigfoot
Finding
is real,
Big-
but this Wendigo, like Wendigo, is rooted in like Indian folklore, where like you know, it's like Indian burial grounds, and there's like spirits that will walk around at certain times of the year and stuff like that. That shit's pretty creepy.
I have evil spirits that must walk around in the fall and summer and like take trail cameras and like take SD cards. They're very evil spirits.
They're very evil spirits.
Terrible spirits.
They steal
Steven-
things. Yeah.
Stephen Fulton, you're live on the Okayest Hunter podcast. Thanks for calling in. What do you got to share with us about mythical beasts?
Well, when you was listing the mythical beast, and it's Stefan Fulton.
Thank you,
here.
Stefan. Sorry about that. Thank you.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm used to it. Actually, I haven't called in for a while.
No, it's been a while.
But when you was going through the list, big thing that jumped out at me was Mothman.
I don't know that. I don't know that one.
Tell me more.
The Mothman is a mythical creature. Mythical. Well, I don't know what the hell you want to call it, but West Virginia, Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So I'm in Southeast Ohio, but Mothman is another creature who is half moth, half man. But we're talking, quite a large moth, and he's known for arriving before a disaster occurs and saving people. Have I personally seen Mothman? No, but you have to look it up. Mothman, Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
I'm going to look it up. We're going to look it up. These are the things. This is a new one I have to add to the list because this is another one I've not heard of. So what is the deal with Mothman?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, there's a lot of people that had interactions with him. And I think one of the biggest stories I see is like before a bridge collapses, they see Mothman and he saves individuals and things like that.
So he's good. He's good. He's not evil.
He's good. Yes. He's not evil, but also I think he's one of those things. If I still saw it in the woods, I'd shit down my leg.
I think that'd be fair.
Well, that's
that'd be
funny.
fair.
I peed down both legs just right now.
But so Mothman's kind of the regional thing, but also there's always Bigfoot. And actually, again, Southeast Ohio, it's actually Salt Fork State Park. They have, I guess that's like the Bigfoot conference in the world or something like that. And I know people have been down there, and that's where everyone goes to find Bigfoot. I have not personally interacted with Bigfoot, but I do have a Bigfoot story that just kind of goes back to hunting roots. So this might just be a stupid story, but my best friend, when we were younger, we would go squirrel hunting, and as we're out and about, your kids, and it's starting to get dark later in the afternoon, and you're getting kind of maybe a little timid being in the woods. And I looked at him and I said, "What would you do if Bigfoot went walking across that holler right there?" He said, "I'd pull this 38 off my leg and shoot it in the head." And there you go. I said, who wouldn't? And that's part of the reason why I think if there was a Bigfoot, there is an Okayest Hunter out there that would shoot it.
Right. Like, can you imagine, like, consider the world of influencers, and you'd be like, Ruger, the gun that killed Bigfoot. Done.
And if it was a 38, everybody'd be going out buying 38s.
Generational wealth codified. You're good for like the next fucking like 6 generations. Your family, like, you're the guys that killed Bigfoot, huh? Like, yeah, Doyle rules for sure.
Pretty much.
How many podcast invitations would you get?
20 years
All of
later,
them.
He'd be on this one.
It's 20 years later, and we're walking through the woods, and we go, "What would you do if Bigfoot went walking through that holler right
You'd
there?"
shoot
And
it.
they always say, "Pull out a 38 and shoot it in the head."
You know what's interesting though is like a lot of people bust out their camera because they want proof and they want footage. And I struggle to get the buck that I shot on camera this year because I was fumbling around because I was freaking out. So I it is interesting that like when something like that happens, you just can't get to your equipment fast enough. But you got to imagine the number of self filmers, DIY, videographers, shows, cell cams, trail cams, streaming cams. At some point, we got to pick this MFer up on camera. This furry being. And like what Brad said, it sounds like someone had picked something up on camera. But if you Google Michigan Dogman and you watch that video, it is so compelling. It's not even like man-like. It's a bear that suddenly starts to charge on two legs, and it will scare the shit out of you. And if you watch it over and over again, like I did, you will start to believe there's something in the woods from 1970 that will like haunt your nightmares. It's crazy. I've never heard of Mothman.
For this podcast tonight.
Yeah. So if your kids are listening, don't let them go to bed too early.
I love scaring my kids. My wife thinks it's not nice, but
if you don't have parental controls on your YouTube, don't let them watch the Dogman video from Michigan.
Don't let your kids watch Dogman videos. They're legitimately scary as shit because they seem so real. But again, I think that one was debunked. As some college kids do some crazy shit. I don't know how they did it. I actually think that's probably bullshit. They probably didn't debunk it. They probably just said they did. If I had the technology, I'd show it on the screen right now, but clearly my computer can't handle it. So anyway, Stefan, thank you for the call.
Yeah.
We got to look up Mothman. It's very interesting. That's a new one I haven't heard of.
I've not heard of that one either.
So
I'm glad he's out there doing the good work.
I'll add another one to the list.
There you go.
Well, you have a good night, man. Thanks so much for calling in. We appreciate it.
See you, Stephen.
Good hearing from you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Dude, this Guinness is good. Oh my. What's the Guinness used to have like these old
Guinness for strength.
No. Oh my Guinness. What was it called? Their ad campaigns? Oh my Guinness, I think it was.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
Did you know Guinness the Guinness Book of World Records was created to keep people in bars longer?
I think you told me that.
So Guinness said, "Oh, people are drinking our beer, but we need to keep them in bars longer. Let's make a book of records, like world records, to keep them in the bar longer." And that's how it was born. Like, this is not a joke. This is real. This is not a mythical beast. Just like Michelin tires created the Michelin restaurant star rating to get people to drive further to like use tires
to try restaurants.
Same exact thing, just different. This extra stout, I'm glad I got the extra stout because regular Guinness I actually don't like. This is delicious. And Greg chugged his. You want to give another one? Do you want another Guinness?
No,
Greg?
no, I have.
My goodness. That's what it is.
Yep.
My goodness.
Happy St. Patty's Day, by the way, because it's coming up this Friday. I know we're a little early, but like we're not going to record again until next week. So happy St. Patty's Day.
Woo!
We're talking about mythical beings. The leprechaun's probably a mythical being that no one's going to talk about, but happy to take some more calls. The number's on the screen. It's 262-757-4122.
I've had like weird paranormal stuff that happened that I totally believe in, but I've not had mythical beast stuff.
So the paranormal
So like I
one
feel like I
freaks me out.
can't jump into that. Like I don't have it.
So
No,
Exodus,
I don't believe
were you
it.
here when
I
the
don't
Exodus
have
guys
it.
came by?
Oh yeah, I was here.
Do you remember that story?
Which one?
The story where they talk about the ghost pushing people out of trees?
Yeah.
That was, dude, I got goosebumps on that episode. That was freaky as shit.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to switch gears. I'll talk about that, and then you tell me your shit. So basically, Exodus Trail Cam guys, they were doing whitetail cribs with Infault down the road. They're like, hey, we're in the area. We're going to stop by. Cool. We're not like Infault. We're not that cool, but we're okay. Come on by. They did a podcast with us. And Chad Sylvester, the founder, one of the co-founders, and original co-founders founder, he shared a story of like somebody hunting this big old tree in some forest. And he fell out of the tree, but he's like, well, I didn't fall. Someone pushed me. And when the EMT showed up to like help him, he said, well, I fell. Yeah. But like, it felt like someone pushed me out of the tree. And then the EMT said, well, that's weird because about a year ago, someone said the same exact thing about this exact tree. Someone pushed them. And then come to find out it was an old lynching tree.
Really?
Like, people used to hang people from this tree. And he told me that story. I'm still freaking out about it. Like, I'm getting like chills about it. It's not cool.
Okay, so
my eyes are watering. It's not a good thing.
I'm not crying. You're crying.
Yeah, I'm not crying. You're crying. I don't have anything in my eyes. Just got both fingers in my eyes.
No, but like when you have an emotional response because you believe it's real.
So then he told that story. And Chad's he's a big man. If you've not met Chad Sylvester in person,
Chad's a mountain of a man.
He's a D1 fucking football player. The guy is huge. I saw him on like, their Instagram and their YouTube, and I'm like, yeah, he's buff. And then you see him in person, like, holy shit, you're a fucking huge man.
And you know what he said to me? He looks at me and goes, thought you were a lot smaller. I'm like, thanks. He's saying I'm fat.
So then
I
you
mean, I know
just-
I am.
do you
So
But
see
Chad
someone
comes to the
do you see
studio.
someone like that
yeah, make
burly?
sure you jack that
Yeah.
chair up, bro.
All right, Chad.
Raise that bitch up. Anyway, so then Chad tells us a story. I'm like, that's some creepy shit. And there's a tree like that in Wyalusing that's just, you know, this tree's been here for like 400 years. It's terrifyingly, disgustingly ugly and creepy. And that's the tree that's a landmark. Like, you've all seen that old tree in the woods. You're like, whoa. You know, witches were burned near here or something weird in the ninth, you know, whenever the hell they were burned. I don't know.
A lot of them were used like as almost like street signs, where like Native Americans would take and lay the branches down, and they would grow more sideways and kind of point them in a direction.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, and I know of a few places out by me that there are a few oak trees like that. They're big.
Is it the oak trees that grow that big and old and weird?
Yeah,
You know, you saw the one in Wyalusing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was an oak.
That was a big old
There's a big old
tree.
oak, and I mean that thing was probably as big around as this table is long.
Yeah, for sure.
But I have a few oak trees like that out near me, and I know for a fact that, you know, Native Americans inhabited my area quite a bit. You know, I'm out by Aslan.
Well, like think of Oconomowoc, like all the Pewaukee. Like in
Aslan.
grade school, we learned about Pewaukee, Lake of Shells. That's what it stands for because of the Indian culture.
The bottom of
Native
my
American
lake
culture
is supposed to. It was rumored here. You want to talk about paranormal shit? The pyramids in the bottom of Rock Lake. You can look
What are you
that
talking
up.
about pyramids in the
Look it up. Seriously, pyramids. Just Google Lake Mills, Wisconsin, pyramids, Rock Lake. Check it out.
What is this supposed to mean?
What does it mean? You tell me.
I don't know. It's your story.
Well, it's not my
Did
story.
you learn
It's the
about it?
pyramids.
I learned about the Lake of Shells in Pewaukee.
Look it up. Look it up. It has something to do with the Native Americans.
Some crazy ass shit going on tonight. We're all gonna have
Dang.
haunted dreams tonight.
Hey,
Tell you
I
what,
don't
check
want
your
to drive
check-
home by long.
You're gonna see the Wendigo.
You have some more smoke wagon, you'll need a buddy to take you home.
He's
I'm
not,
staying
he's
away
drinking
from
drop
that.
Time. He's drinking
I'm staying
drop
away
time.
from that.
I think the smoke wagon's like not as alcoholic as a drop time. The smoke wagon is 57.56% written in a marker. So that
Written in a marker?
Look at that.
An erasable marker?
What's that?
Wait, where does it say it?
57 point.
I don't even
What is
see
it
it.
on the right? On the bottom right?
46%. You got the
That's
the
like a
heavy
Sharpie
duty.
marker.
Yeah, this is like someone's like, no, I tested this. This is 57.56%.
They don't even print it on their labels.
No, it's literally written in
It's a
marker.
litmus test. The guy drinks it on an empty stomach, and then he samples it and says, "Yep, I can talk about the Beast of Bray Road."
57.6.
57.6%.
That's what he's doing.
Oh, yeah, this is. I mean, drop time's legit.
46%. That's enough.
We crushed a whole bottle at this at the Iowa Deer Classic, and by we I mean literally none of us. Everyone walking by.
Everybody got a taste.
That was drawing people into the booth, man. I was like, "Oh, hey, you want some bourbon?" And the wives are like, "Fuck."
Dude, the best part was you were like,
You
was
were
it,
there,
Was
yeah.
it Sunday morning?
Oh yeah, it's like,
It
is
was
it
like-
too early?
It was like 10:30, and he's like,
People are like,
man,
"No,
like
nah."
it's pretty dead this morning. We got to let's get it going. He's like, do you think it's too early to ask people for a shot? I was like, just ask.
It's a deer classic.
The first guy, he's like, yeah, like it's pretty early, but like, we were pouring shots. He's like, yeah, let's do it.
I was pouring some of people's Bloody
And
Marys.
it was like 10:30. I was like, hey, here we go.
You ever?
Yeah, I think
If you had a liter of Coke there, it'd have been fine.
the open season scolded us for that. Like we got a note on our table
Do
the
not
day after. I'll do it
feed
again.
the
I'll play
animal.
dumb.
You guys
silly
were
till
too
the
much
next
fun.
Well, neither of you are going to be at the Dells, but Matt,
Nope.
me, and Tyler will be there. So a different crew for the Dells. But so
I
tell me
will-
your paranormal stuff, man.
I will be sure
Me?
to check in.
Yeah, you said you had something.
Yeah, I had a bunch of paranormal stuff from when I was a kid, and then into early adulthood that like I totally believe in.
Was it related to your grandparents?
No, but it was related to my uncle
Okay.
and a cremation.
I
Having his
believe
ashes
in
in the
some of his
house.
Were you
stories,
were you
too.
close to your uncle?
This is about
No,
deer
I
hunting.
never met my uncle in
Really?
person.
Did a deer
Really?
mount drop off the wall or something? Shut up.
Just wait.
All right, I'm
So-
guessing.
Don't spoil
here.
it.
All right,
My
I don't know.
uncle, my mom's a brother. His name was Roger. Lived in Texas. He used to mail me presents for all my birthdays and stuff like that. Like super nice guy. I had never met him. He died from a brain aneurysm when I was young,
That
like
sucks.
5 years old.
Okay.
But he always used to mail me all this cool stuff. Like I considered him absolutely my uncle. Like even though I'd never met him, he was like an important guy in my life. And my mom has another sister and then 2 other brothers.
Okay.
Well, he passed away from brain aneurysm. My parents flew down there there to like in the hospital, was still living, and then had a really severe one, died. So they were down there, took care of business, whatever. He wanted to be cremated, and then he wanted to be buried with a tree, like with the roots of a tree, planted with a tree, so he could grow, ashes into
I love
a tree.
that. I've
Cool-
often said I
cool
want
idea.
to be grinding a bone and
Yeah.
fed to the wolves.
Why leave
Yeah.
whole bodies in holes? Just
Very cool idea. So my mom, he was cremated. We had the ashes at our house in the closet. And like I used to say goodnight to Uncle Roger, like after he passed, like I'd say goodnight, like to everyone in the house. This was the thing I did when I was a kid. He had bought me this Humvee toy when I was, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old.
Not
like
not the H2, like a real Hummer.
No, it's like a Hummer toy. It had like the 4 buttons on top, the engine starting,
Yeah,
the
it vibrates.
brown
or
bottle,
something. Yeah.
whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And when I would say goodnight to Uncle Roger, once in a while, the engine sound would just start up.
The fuck?
And it was weird, right?
possessed kid's toy box.
Really weird.
Dude, that shit happens around here.
But
It
it
freaks me out.
literally it became like almost normal. It wasn't like an everyday thing, but it was like almost normal. Well, the batteries died on it. No batteries. This thing would still do that once in a while. When
Where
I
is it?
went to
Where
bed,
is it now?
I don't have it anymore. I don't know where it is.
Freaked out and threw it away.
Because it all changed when we took his ashes out of the house. But that was like
Really?
one of the things that happened.
Okay.
One night, my mom and her sister are talking about family stuff going down with his estate. The 2 brothers did not get along with the 2 sisters. They were trying to do some shady things. And my mom and her sister, who were closest with Roger, were arguing on the phone, yelling, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, we hear this huge, loud noise. Hear this really fancy mirror that Roger had bought from my mom in the front hallway had fallen off the wall and broken.
Eyes are watering again.
Literally
You're just
fallen
doing it
off
in
the
my
wall
face.
and
Look
broken.
look at these watering. I'm not crying, but it's freaking me out. Okay.
So like literally we hear this huge like this super loud noise. Mom's like, oh my God, she's on the phone with Marion. And her and Marion have always had this weird connection. They bought each other the same birthday card for like 4 years in a row.
That's weird.
But like this mirror breaks. It's this expensive mirror that Roger had bought her as a gift. Where like she literally is like, Roger's hearing us. He's not happy with us that we're arguing. Like he's pissed. So like eventually we had planted a tree at the mausoleum where my grandparents, Roger's parents, were buried. Planted this tree. We didn't want to put the ashes in right away. Wanted to make sure the tree was going to be okay. So we waited like 2 years. Tree's doing great. Dig up a hole, bury his ashes there. The weird stuff at home kind of stops. Normal. That fall, we literally go to see the tree.
And it had a buck rub on it.
And it had a freaking buck rub on it.
Shut up!
And it is right next to the
Shut
freaking
up!
mausoleum. And there's like, it's open, everything. No other tree has buck rubs. This tree is rubbed, and he was a deer hunter from Texas.
Imagine
And it's
that.
flipping rubbed. And we're like, oh my God. So then in college, I did oh my God, this is so weird. In one of my drawing classes, one of the projects, we had to buy an Etch-a-Sketch. Remember? Or no, sorry, not Etch-a-Sketch. Magna Doodle.
Oh yeah.
Where you drag it around.
Yep.
We had to buy a Magna Doodle, and we had to do a drawing on a Magna Doodle, and we were going to have an art gallery of Magna Doodles. Ridiculous, right? So I'm like talking to my mom about this Magna Doodle, and she tells me a story about Roger bought me a Magna Doodle when I was a kid. I didn't remember. I'm like 21 years old, whatever. And I'm like, oh, really? That's cool. I'm like doing the Magna Doodle thing right now. And I draw a buck on it. Thinking about Uncle Roger that night when I went to bed. Stood up my drawing when I was done on like the little couch next to me. And I made one like erase my drawing overnight.
Yeah.
I set it there. I wake up in the morning, look over, and like half of it is like up erased. And the other half is perfect. And I'm like, is that Roger fucking with me? Like, he's done it before. And I was like, good one, Roger. Like, it was just this weird, like, something always happen. Something will happen tonight because we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
Like something weird will happen tonight. Like his spirit will do something. It'll be interesting.
Like,
hopefully
it's
it's
sketch
good.
I drew, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So like that kind of stuff definitely got it started. And then when I used to work at that camp in upstate New York, I got to take the oldest kids on little like trips and tours. And we went to Providence, Rhode Island. Tons of like witchcraft, ghost stories.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
early on settler stuff. And we did this ghost tour in Providence. Tons of different ones. We did this ghost tour with all my students or with all the campers. And we got to this cool place. And the guy's doing a great job telling us all these ghost stories. And me and a couple other kids, like, it's not our thing or whatever. And we're like lagging in the back. And all of a sudden, like, I hear something. And I'm like, turn around. And I'm like, walk around the corner. I thought I heard like horse footsteps, like a horse galloping, and like horse noises. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like a cool like cops on horses here. It's like old school, I don't know. So I'm like looking around, and I don't see anything. And two of the other kids like come back there and like, I'm like, did you hear that? And they're like, yeah. Did you hear a horse? I'm like, yeah, I heard a horse. Don't see it though. I'm like, whatever. So we walk on, and literally like the next building, we walk like 100 yards. We get up to this other building. The tour stops, and the guy's like, this is the old army hospital, like where they used to like bring all the sick people, blah, blah, blah. They used to bring them in by horseback and bring them
goddamn, I'm
in.
doing it
And
again.
literally me and the two kids just look at each other and we're like, oh my God. Are you kidding me? We just got like mega goosebumps. We looked around for like the horses again. Nothing was there. And it was like nothing at the time was weird. But when he said it, we were just like,
Do you think that perhaps there was sound piped in somewhere in a speaker
no one else heard it.
out of the trees, or were they not paying attention to it? And you, just a handful of people did.
It was not sound piped in. It wasn't even like a place that they,
Okay.
I mean, it could be, but it would be.
We got another
for-
caller talking about supernatural stuff.
All right, cool.
Bring it.
We got what looks, and I might be wrong, so I'm going to bring you on in just a second here. But Kelly Hines from Madison, Wisconsin, you're live on the Okayest Hunter podcast. What do you got for us tonight?
Sorry, guys, it's Noah.
Oh, hey Noah. Sorry, I don't know why I came up that way. I'm looking at your caller ID,
Yeah,
so maybe
no worries.
Kelly pays for your phone bill. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
How's it going, bud?
But it's going great. But first, I want to say thank you, guys. It's already grinding enough to get to my stand in the middle of the night up north.
I'm talking. I said it earlier, and Greg was giving me shit. I'm like, "Heck,
Lions
man,
and tigers and bears. Oh
we'll
my!
see how he does this season.
But yeah, no, sticking with the ghost thing, 100% real.
Well, what happened, man? Can you talk about it?
So, as a kid, like this is my one solidified ghost being real for me forever. Just kind of woke up in the middle of the night one night, and I'd kicked off my comforter, and I look up, and it's sticking over the top of my bed. And my bed was up off the ground quite a bit. So I'm like, that's weird. So I get up, go around, and it looked like something was like kneeling underneath the comforter.
Oh my God.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I noped right out of there.
That's all.
This is me leaving.
This has nothing to do with the
Adios.
deer woods. What are we talking about
That
here?
is such a different level of nope than my stories. Mine were like cute and endearing.
Hey, we're talking
This
about
is a
that.
nope.
And come back in the morning, comforter just on ground flat.
What do you make of that, man?
Well,
You got like a deceased relative, or what's going on? Haunted house? What?
No, I have no idea. New construction. I just know ghosts are real at that point.
Done. We're done. I
Nope.
believe.
No
Stop trying to
questions
convince
asked.
me.
We're not even going to
Done.
read into this
Done.
any more than what we have.
All right.
That's
They're real, and that's
terrifying.
that.
How did you ever sleep again? Do you sleep now?
One eye open, baby.
I would get really drunk to sleep after that.
Holy shit.
I don't care if I was 5 or not. Give me the bourbon, Mom. I need it for my
No.
gums.
As far as deer hunting goes, like I said, I'm up north, and debate whether or not you want to call it the North Woods, but it's a different feeling up there when you're trying to walk out to your stand
It's
in
so
the morning.
quiet. Yeah.
Well, it's not just quiet; you can feel that there's something there. At least when I'm walking out to my stand.
You gotta deal with that shit, man. Something's following you.
Oh, someone's following me. But you ever had an owl? Like, I think it's a screeching owl, whatever,
Screech
go off
owl.
on you?
Yep.
And that almost ruined it for me last year. It was the first time that happened to me.
Yeah, those owls will freak you out, man. I had one of the spots that I hunted up in the Northwoods. I hunted it for a couple of years, a really good spot, but you had to walk through a cedar swamp, right? So it's like all that sphagnum moss. It's so quiet in a cedar swamp in the morning, in the dark. when there's no wind, it is the most quiet place
An
on
elephant
Earth.
could walk on that stuff and
Yeah.
you wouldn't hear
And
it.
it just everything absorbs, like the cedar branches, they're not leaves, but you know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah.
the cedar boughs, they absorb the
Yes.
sphagnum moss, and like I'm creeping through as quiet as that I can. I got my little headlamp on, like the red light. You know, I'm trying to be non-intrusive. You can't see shit really with a red light, and all of a sudden I just like feel something over my head, and it was this little tiny owl. I don't know what
Screech owls are tiny.
is that. What it was?
They're tiny.
I mean, it was like this big, and
The
he
cutest can be because they'll land and they'll like
Yeah.
seriously they'll
No,
perch on a limb and flip around upside down
That's
and
what he
look
did.
at you.
He flew right. He went right over my head, and he like landed in a tree about 10 feet away, and like on a low branch, and we're
right,
just like
right in your face.
just like it scared the crap out of me. But then I see it land, and it's like, oh, it's a little owl. And then he was doing like the just like
and
checking you out,
tweaking
and, like,
tweaking his little head.
But man, for like a good 5 seconds there, I was like, what the?
And owls are the quietest of the prey birds that fly.
Is that
you know,
is that worse than when a turkey comes out of roost and scares the shit out of you?
Oh, they make a hell of a racket.
They're loud, but if you don't
Turkeys
know
and
they're coming-
grouse, as loud as could be.
Yeah, they're loud as can be, but an owl, they take off and you barely hear them.
You ever walk up on like a hen nested up hen turkey, or like when the turkeys
Oh, yeah.
lay in some grass?
Yep.
They let you get like 2 feet away, and then they take off running into everything.
Yep. That's a
Yeah,
treat.
that'll wake you up. You need that coffee after all. Noah, dude, that's some creepy shit, man.
That's a whole new
it's
level.
bad. And then the whole, I know about the Wendigos. They're supposed to be up around there.
You know anybody
Like
that's seen the Wendigo? It's real.
No, I don't think. I know it's the whole, like you guys were saying earlier, it's that Native American stuff. And some of that stuff is, they had quite the imagination if they were thinking it up.
Well, they were around a lot longer than we were, and they saw a lot more before we inhabited this continent. So there could be something to it.
I would agree with that.
You don't want to make the spirits unhappy.
Now, what's the story? The Wendigo was like the protector of the forest, right?
I don't know. I don't know the
I
story.
think that was like
they're cannibals.
I think you're
Is their
right.
whole
I think
thing.
I've seen that. It's pretty creepy, is what it is.
Really?
You look it up, and it's not okay.
Another don't show the kids.
No, I'm just not gonna deal with that. Like, you won't see me walking in the woods by Holy Hill, although I have, which is creepy.
I ran some trail cameras over there this year. No,
Yeah, I'm sure run some more.
no beasts over there.
The only place it's the only place in the woods I see for the cell cam, streaming cam stuff is to catch these mythical beasts on camera and see what we can do about it. Dude, thanks for the call, man. Noah, that's some creepy shit. I hope you can sleep okay, man.
That's
I know I'm
absolutely
not gonna
terrifying,
now.
man.
No,
I will do my best here, guys. Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
man.
buddy. Thanks for calling.
Yep.
So we're not the only ones that believe in this kind of stuff. That's what I kind of thought was going to happen. What do you got here, Greg?
What does it say? What is Wikipedia saying about Wendigo?
Wendigo. It's
Wendigo.
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 No, not Wendigo. It's Wendigo.
That
Wendigo.
sounds like a resort. I think it's like Wendigo, like creepy Wendigo.
Like Winnebago.
You got flies.
Wendigo. Mythical creature or evil spirit. Originating from folklore of Plains and Great Lakes natives. So it is local to our area.
Yeah. It's a Wisconsin thing.
Malevolent spirit.
Malevolent is not good.
Creature with human-like characteristics which possesses human beings. Insatiable greed and hunger.
This speaks to
The
like
desire
the
to
shapeshifter
cannibalize
stuff.
other
Yeah.
Honestly, I
humans.
think the natives saw this as a characteristic in people.
Interesting.
If you
Yeah,
look at-
folks.
It's just what it is.
What are your thoughts? Do you believe? Do you not believe? If you had an encounter, send us a message, DM, an email, something. Maybe we'll dig this episode back up at some point and do another round 2 when things are slow here in the studio. We're at over the top of the hour, so I think we're gonna call it. And I have to pee.
Wow.
Great call tonight too.
That's
Though.
Yeah,
good.
man, that was great.
That was a fun episode. Anyway, we'll get some music going here. Which one do I got? On that note, they're real. You're gonna be haunted in the woods forever. Good luck navigating that shit.
hunter safety system takes
Hunter-
on a whole new meaning.
Hunter safety is more of a fun.
Hey, who you gonna call?
Get out of that saddle and get down on the tree. You're about to get Wendigoed. If I saw that, I'm out. I would never hunt again. I'd be
You
like,
might
I'm done.
not.
I'd
You
be
might
like,
not
I'm
have the
done.
choice to hunt again.
Yeah,
No.
you're not,
Not a
hunting that
cannibal.
spot. Yeah, nah, we're good.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.